3, 2, 1, goal!
Ladies and gentlemen, you know that sound means it's time for another episode of A Beer and Review.
So pour it high and let it gleam. This is the podcast, Sip and Dream. Stay for the fun, we've got more to do. Oh yeah, it's A Beer and Review.
That's right. Welcome to another episode of A Beer and Review. This is episode 133, the Wrexham Lager and Balls Up. I am your host for the evening, Luke Walker, joined as always by my two dearest friends in the whole world, Mr. Lane Good.
Todo bem.
And Mr. Keith Fuchs.
What is up, boys?
What's up, boys? Well, if you're new here to A Beer and Review, our fans, we are growing weekly, so we know many of you may be new. It's pretty simple. We watched a movie. In this case, that movie is Balls Up. We're going to review that movie while we do it. Yeah, we normally would drink a beer, but Lane's going to hold down the beer drinking fort tonight. We'll give our reviews of the beer. Lane will give his reviews of the beer, and we'll give our review of the movie at the end. Before we do any of that, though, we'll still take a ceremonial swig. Lane, you can get into that beer. I'm gonna hydrate up.
There you go. I hope the audience out
Cheers,
there
man.
is also getting a good swig in. Look at that one. Look at you boys.
Yeah, I've got a real nice little USA men's, or not just USA soccer mug that
Nice.
I found at Total Wine today while I was looking for the beer that was sold out. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. I also, as you noticed, I've brought my cards here. Got my red and my yellow, so you guys better be on your best behavior. I will be booking for offenses, so watch yourselves.
Heat isn't that good.
What?
I said heat isn't that good.
Oh, well, that's a red card. You're out of here, pal.
Nice.
Yeah. So before we get into anything, actually, let's start with a little what you've been watching, and then we'll get into everything soccer and World Cup related, because that is going to dominate this episode. So, Mr. Fuchs, why don't you start us off? What you been watching, man?
Not a ton. The only significant thing, obviously, a little bit of World Cup. The most significant thing is I had last Friday off for the Juneteenth holiday.
Ah, yes.
So the wife and I took our son to see Toy Story 5.
Yeah, nice.
Ooh, how was it?
Dude, it was good. It's just
Okay.
for the fifth installment of a franchise that came out 31 years ago now. It's fucking
Yeah.
good. They
Yeah.
still make them
Nice.
good. If you go on the fucking internet, there are people who complain. They're fucking assholes. It's a good
Yeah.
movie. Lots of modern, things to relate to. Technology, kids trying to make friends, parenting, that type of shit. So, tore a little at the heartstrings.
See,
Make sure that my kid never gets some kind of fucking iPad or something. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Thoroughly fucking enjoyed it. Love me some Toy Story.
Toy Stories has always been so near and dear to me, and I'm sure you guys as well, because it came out when we were like 5 or 6. So the fact that it's still going, and 3 was so perfect. It was like, okay, finish it there. I didn't like 4, but 5 looks. I like that kind of story with the technology, and it's like,
4 was
okay, I
good
can see
too.
why you bring it back.
4 was
Yeah,
good.
it was good.
They're all fucking good.
Yeah, they are all pretty good. It's after 3 it would have been a nice wrap, but they'll just make them forever apparently, because people are going to see them and they're great. And I'm excited to go see that one this weekend. Lane Good, what about you, buddy?
I was on vacation last week, which was just great for everything. So I got to watch a lot of different things. I watched some Reno 911, which was fun.
Oh, okay.
I watched a documentary on Game 7 of the 2006 Western Conference Finals between
Okay.
the Spurs and
Wow.
the Mavericks. It's on Amazon Prime. Do recommend. It just talks about how the Mavericks were kind of a joke of a franchise, and the Spurs were always the big dogs in Texas, and how they had to overcome the challenge of the Spurs. So it was very fun to watch. And then I watched Borat, which we'll get a little Sacha Baron Cohen chat later.
Yes, we will.
It's a different movie in 2026. Let me tell you, I forgot there was the scene that's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long, where him and that big fat dude are both butt naked, and they're like getting all the sexual positions and running through like busy places. It's like, wow, You wouldn't get away with that today.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting watch. I watched The Warriors. I don't know if you boys have seen that one.
Oh.
Warriors.
Warriors.
Yeah.
So good.
Come out and
It just
play.
oozes style. I mean, it's just all these different gangs they have. They all have so much personality. They're all so fun. It's such a fun watch. And then the final one, I saved the best for last. I crossed another movie off my movies to watch from every year I've been born list. I watched for the first time Catch Me If You Can.
Oh man,
Leo,
what an absolute
Tom
classic.
Hanks. It was a really, really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Leo is awesome. Tom Hanks is still pretty awesome at this point in his career. It was just a fun watch. Spielberg, I loved it all.
Yeah, that's an excellent movie. I haven't watched a ton. I did go ahead and finish Close Encounters because I had watched most of it, and then you guys did the episode, and I figured whatever, I'll finish it anyways. And then I listened to your guys' episode. It was quite enjoyable. I've been watching a ton of World Cup. I basically watched every single World Cup match, and I went to the World Cup. So that's been dominating much of my life. So yeah, that was why I wanted us to do this movie. I do have some pretty solid World Cup fever. Like I said, I went to the USA Australia game, as you guys well know. In Seattle, we did have these cards. We gave out many a red card, many a yellow card. Anytime somebody spilled a drink, somebody bumped into us, they called last call at the stadium bar. We got a card for that. Some guy got kicked out of the bar we were in, like thrown into the street by the bouncer.
Nice.
Go ahead and rubbed it in with a little red card for him. It was a good time, and I must say that the World Cup, I think it's the number one sporting event that I've attended. I've been trying to run through a mental kind of inventory of awesome sporting events I've been to: Final Fours, national championships, World Series, a lot of cool shit. But man, the World Cup was
different when it's your countrymen, right?
And that's the thing. It was our country. We were with, playing against the Aussies, and they were a fun bunch. And so it was good, man. And so, yeah, I really wanted, just to do a movie that was World Cup related. So that's why this movie was perfect. So what do you guys say we get into the flick?
Let's
dive in.
All right. Balls Up. Great name. The 2026 film, written by Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, directed by Peter Farrelly, starring Mark Wahlberg, Paul Walter Hauser, and Sacha Baron Cohen. Nice little tight runtime of an hour 44. We'll talk a little bit more about the writers and director, because I think that's all. There's actually some pretty interesting people. They have a filmography and writing credits that I would not have expected. So we'll get into that a little bit. Our beer for this week is the Wrexham Lager. I'll go ahead and spoil the connection to the movie. It has to do with the Wrexham soccer team that Rob Reynolds and Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds purchased and have made into a very successful endeavor and TV shows and all kinds of nonsense. And so they have a beer, and so that's why we're doing it. Nailed it. All right, let's get into a quick plot synopsis here. So we have two marketing guys who work for a condom company, and they are pitching an innovative new condom. They cement a huge deal to be the official condom of the 2025 World Cup in Brazil. However, after a drunken celebratory night of debauchery, the deal is blown, their company is in the tank, and they get fired. However, they find themselves sitting first row at the World Cup final in Brazil, and after thwarting Brazil's late game equalizer, they become the most hated men in Brazil. They spend the rest of the movie trying to escape Brazil alive. That's one way. That's one way to describe it. Well, before we talk too much about anything else, we must get into the first thing, and that is the first scene. Let's get into Lane Love's first scenes.
God, that was just absolutely beautiful. I also typed up a flawless execution, and my plot synopsis was way more in depth and just stupid and silly, and you did a much better job than mine. So good on you.
The movie goes a lot of ways. You can't recap it all in one synopsis.
Lots of zags.
Yeah, we're zigging and zagging. Yeah.
Yeah. So the film starts with our main character Elijah. He's having this he's stuttering, and he's like, I don't like public speaking. He's obviously public speaking, and opens up, and he's doing a god awful job, and he's pitching, like you said, this new condom. Which Keith, I don't know what you think about this, but a condom that wraps around your gonads, my man. What a terrible idea. Am I right? What is this thing?
It's a terrible idea, but it's not the first time that I've heard someone throw out the idea.
Okay.
Surprised it's not a real thing.
Surprised it's not a real thing,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, I thought it was
pretty,
pretty
like
ridiculous, but
yeah, very ridiculous.
It's definitely ridiculous. There's not arguing that.
And we learn a little bit about Elijah. He's kind of this, what do they describe him as? All steak, no sizzle. And then we meet Brad, all sizzle, no steak, where he's the two opposite ends of the coin here. We also do get the beginning of the reoccurring joke of Steve from HR always being around. It's like, okay,
kind of.
But
funny.
I think kind of. But I think the classic comedy movies are really good comedy movies. Have an amazing start. We have like the Wedding Crashers intro where they're doing the divorce proceedings, just like shut your mouth and you're talking to me, and they have that whole back and forth. That's classic. The Super Troopers opening where they're driving across the country, pulling them over, fucking with them. I also did the Tropic Thunder opening where they've got they're playing the fake movie trailers.
Mhm.
Those are like iconic movie openings, right? And this is just like a stumbling dick joke.
Well, to compare this to some of the most iconic comedy movies of our lifetime would be a mistake. So I don't know where you're going with that, but
that's what I want. That's what I want from a good comedy. All right, I want to start off with a good laugh, and there was nothing like.
Yeah, there was a couple giggles in there. There was some good.
So how do we?
Yeah.
So what's the grade on the first scene? Did you give it a grade?
I'd give it a 5. I mean, it was bad.
That feels fair. It was fairly lackluster. It didn't give us a lot. But it kind of does give us, I guess, part of because the movie really has two like premises, right? The first premise is this condom company who invented this ball wrapping condom is trying to become the official condom of the World Cup. Okay, let's see where this goes. And then it has the second premise, which is after that goes horribly wrong, it goes even worse, and these guys ruin the World Cup and then are on the run, right? So it's like this two movies, or two setups. How do we feel about just the overall, like the premise? Like if somebody told you just the premise, these condom company guys ruin the World Cup and have to escape Brazil for their lives. How do we feel about that setup, Keith? Just on his face.
On his balls.
On its balls. I mean, you could have done the movie without the condom company part. Like, I think the condom part was just like they're just trying to make it more of a comedy, more funny, a way to have these two work together in a fucking goofy way. But you definitely did not need. Granted, they did incorporate the condoms throughout the movie in different ways.
Yeah, it plays a little bit of a role.
It plays a role. It plays.
Yeah, they have to swallow them at one point.
Exactly. But I mean,
overall,
a very, very stupid premise. for what is definitely a stupid movie, but does not mean that it's a totally irredeemable movie.
Wayne?
Yeah, I agree. I think you have the condoms and the balls up in there just to make a splash. When I first saw the trailers for this movie, I like Mark Wahlberg in a comedy situation, and this is a ridiculous comedy situation. So at first I'm kind of like, okay, I'm in. And then we see where we go, and it just turns into a little bit much.
Yeah, a little bit. One thing that frustrated me about the setup of the movie was that we have a World Cup going on right now, obviously.
In USA,
already talked about that. In USA in 2026, and the movie is based around the 2025 Brazil World Cup. So it's like, why did we?
America,
I'm glad you brought this up.
I guess, but like, why are we using an imaginary made up World Cup for the premise of our movie that comes out during or like right before the actual real World Cup?
There's got to be some kind of
Licensing
copyright
stuff or
licensing stuff.
yeah.
They either didn't
Well, they
want
call
to
it the
say or
World
weren't
Cup.
allowed to do it. I mean, yeah, they do call it the World Cup, so it's like, but yeah,
They got
to
some
be in
kind of
Brazil
permission.
in 2025, and the movie comes out in 2026 during the World Cup in North America. It's like that. Yeah, just odd.
And one of the host countries in this movie or in the real World Cup is Mexico. They could have
They could
basically
easily
done this
Oh, yeah.
movie in Mexico.
Although
Easily.
I do, Mexicans love their soccer, but I think Brazil, if you're gonna go for a country
It
that
means something,
truly
and
is
they've got
diehard
that
soccer, like
rivalry
Brazil,
with Argentina.
Sure. I mean, they could have figured something else out though. I it just frustrated me. I was like, yeah, the 2025 Brazil World Cup.
I know, me too. I was also annoyed by it, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's draft some characters. Let's get into a little character draft here, because we have a pretty deep cast of characters. I think that we can draft from here, and it'll guide the discussion. We'll know who everybody's talking about throughout. So let's draft some characters. We'll do a snake draft. Our drafting is based on no real criteria, just the characters that we like the most. Lane, give me a random number between 1 and 25.
2. That's how many balls.
That's a good call. Keith.
22.
Okay, well, I'll split it somewhere in the middle of that and go 17. It's not really in the middle at all. 22 is the number. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, so then I will take the second pick. Lane will pick 3 and 4, which could be a nice little spot for you there, Lane. So, Keith, kick off our character draft, will you?
Just I don't know. There's a lot of characters to choose from. I'm going with the name that I took, Senor Santos, just because the scene where, he gives them their first deal to be the official condom of the World Cup, and they go to celebrate, and he's 9 years sober, and of course,
One whiff is all it takes.
Take a sniff, and the sniff turns into him doing crack and swinging from some form of vine or decoration, butt naked, while wearing a condom in a club. And then he does come to their assistance later on. So yeah, he was pretty goddamn funny.
And that guy he's familiar. I don't know who he is.
He is in Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
He is also in Modern Family in some episodes of that. He is also in he's in Traffic. I'm just looking at his shit. Law and Order.
Oh, okay.
He's in a bunch of stuff in like smaller roles. Miss Congeniality is like one of the main ones that I think of our generation.
Yeah. Recognizable.
Very definitely recognizable. Benjamin Bratt.
Yep.
His name. Yes.
I just poured beer all over myself.
You're going in the book. Yeah. You're going in the book for that. All right. Well, that's solid pick. I am going to go with Sacha Baron Cohen's Pavio Curto, the mob boss, the gangster guy, mostly because his voice is absolutely hysterical. The scene where he's asking him the yes or no question and he gets into it, and then the middle part of it is just complete gibberish, and then he's yesh or no. And then they're both like, I'm gonna go with yesh. What are you saying? It was so good. So stupid and so funny. Basically everything he does and says in the movie are hilarious. It's really great to get a new Sacha Baron Cohen character after quite a long time. We don't see him very much anymore, and there was a period of time where he had a number of iconic characters, one of which you mentioned earlier in the podcast. Just a delight in this movie. So that will be my pick.
Responsible for my 2 biggest laughs. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it at one point, but when they're doing the karaoke scene, well, I'm sure we'll talk about, but there's Sacha Baron Cohen gives like this girl's talking to him, he like just sticks up his finger and like ignores it. And then as they're starting to get into it, he just has this look on his face of like absolute majestic, like what he's seeing he can't believe. And he doesn't talk. It's just these 2 little clips. And I was like, oh, that's hilarious, right? And the first time I watched it, I didn't catch it. but I've been watching this karaoke scene. It's on right now. I'm watching the movie. I've watched it 15 times, and so I just like love that stupid fucking those looks he gives. For me,
So
I'm gonna
good.
go. If you guys are gonna leave me my two guys, I'll just take them both right here at 3 and 4. I'll take Elijah first. I think he's the better character. I like Paul Walter Hauser. I think he's a fun actor. He can do serious. He can do goofy. I believe we saw him in I, Tonya, and he was a lot of fun in that as well. For him as a character, I think he's, whatever. I think both of these guys are kind of whatever. I think they're very one-dimensional. I think, the way that they describe them, steak and sizzle, is the perfect way to do it. I hated his we built this city on rock and roll humming pill thing. There's a lot of his germaphobe. There's a lot of things about him I didn't like, but I like Paul Walter Hauser. I think he's just a fun.
The germaphobe thing didn't make any sense.
No. And it never really comes up in any meaningful
Right.
way. You're in the jungle in Brazil. And it's not really, it's like mentioned. It's like, oh, I'm a germaphobe. It's like, well, show.
Okay, right.
Yeah. You're just like scratching each other with a dead crocodile, alligator. Right. You're not that much of a germaphobe.
Yeah, you're eating a raw crocodile, I believe. I don't think they cooked it at any point. Germaphobes wouldn't really be into that normally.
Wouldn't be much into that. And then Mark Wahlberg.
Hold on. I got trivia for Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Can you name the TV show that all three of us thoroughly enjoy that Paul Walter Hauser made an appearance in when he was younger?
I had it and I lost it.
Yeah, I feel like I can see it.
I'll give you a hint. A reference to this TV show is on one of our backgrounds.
Oh, is he in Sunny?
He is Sunny. He's in the Lethal Weapon 5. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's way bigger in that.
Yeah.
He's way fatter.
Yeah, he's definitely fatter. But yes.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
That's good stuff.
Look at him.
Sorry, go ahead.
Great call, Keith. Then I'll go with my next one, Mark Wahlberg. I love him in comedic roles. Obviously the other guys, he's phenomenal. And I thought he was pretty funny in Pain and Gain, even though it's a little bit more serious towards the end. But he does good in this. He's a complete douchebag. He's not a very likable guy at all. But I thought he was kind of funny. His voice, even during the karaoke scene, was stupid. He says some funny things. I like his demeanor when he's delivering his jokes. That's all I can say for this movie. So I'll say that for the character. Brad from sales, and I work in sales.
I do love Wahlberg in comedies. Other guys is fantastic. Sorry.
Yeah, he's just pretty great in everything. It's kind of surprising that he was in this movie at all. All right, this one's tough. I kind of want I don't know. This is tough because I feel like it'd be cheating to take both of the eco warriors, Eric Andre's character, and then the other eco warrior that has the undescended testicles. But I am going to take the undescended testicles. That feels like cheating, so I'm not going to take them both. I am going to take the undescended testicles eco warrior, primarily because my favorite part of the entire movie was the tribesman that was with them, whose name is Yeramohi. You have to sing it. And he kept saying it, and he would do it every time. And then when somebody else would say it normal, he would correct them in the sing-song way. The best was when they got away, and the crazy Julie or whatever her name was like, "Come on, Yeramohi, I gotta fuck this rage away." And he's like, Yeramohi, as they're walking away. That's my favorite part of the movie, was the Yeramohi. So I'm gonna take that guy who kept saying it. Really funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. I guess I'm just gonna cheat, and I did say that the premise was stupid earlier, but the condoms are my final draft.
That's a great pick.
They do make many an appearance.
Yep.
They do play a vital role throughout different situations. They save them on the waterfall when they're used as flotation devices.
Yes.
Their pillows at one point.
Yeah.
At one point, yeah. The condoms do a lot. They end up killing a crocodile more because they're stuffed with cocaine, but
sure.
It does help kill a caiman, whatever it's actually called down there. But
I'm surprised you didn't take his Elijah's app that translates
Oh, the Larry David.
everything in
Yeah.
the voice of Larry David.
That's true. That was
Translator app.
I would, if that is a real translator app, I would absolutely download it when going to a foreign country because
And Larry David is officially credited in the movie, so I think
he
he did actually
actually
send his voice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Love it.
All right, boys. Well, we've mentioned quite a few scenes that I would like to dig into a little bit deeper. But before we do, we got through the characters. Were you familiar with the names of the writers and or director that I mentioned?
I do recognize a Farley brother.
Okay,
he does a lot of like Dumb and Dumbers and a lot of stuff.
So Peter Farley, yeah. I mean, I was pretty surprised by his IMDb here. I mean, Dumb and Dumber, There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, everybody's favorite, Shallow Hal, other classic, The Heartbreak Kid, Hall Pass. Then he did The Green Book, which won Best Picture.
That's wild.
Yeah,
as you do.
Right. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And then he gets back into Ricky Stenicki, which I think Lane saw and liked a little bit, maybe.
It was better than this.
Sure. And then he did this. So it's like one of the stranger IMDb's, but some absolute bangers as far as, classic comedies. And then this writing combo of Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick did Zombieland and the Deadpool movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see the IMDb trivia where it said that they've had this idea for like 20 years and they were just sitting on it until the right time? And it's like, really, this is your idea that you set up for 20 years?
This was the one.
They just ran out of all the other ideas.
And they didn't want to do it in 20 fucking let's see, when would Brazil have had a World Cup? They just had a World Cup. Like not that long ago. Like 2014, I think, was the Brazil World Cup. Like they could have done it then. What are we doing? I don't know. That's wild to me. All right, let's get into just we'll talk about a couple of our favorite like funny scenes. Then we can talk about kind of some of the stuff that was dumb. I think that's all we really need to do. Where did Lane go? Did we lose him?
Where did he just run off to?
He's gonna get a red card when he comes back for exiting without announcing his departure.
Warning, that son of a bitch. No, that's nearly a red.
Give it to my dog, all right?
Yeah, that's for your dogs. You're each on a yellow. You're each on a yellow card now, so
Great.
you're in danger. So what I was saying, I don't really have that much on this movie. I think we could rip through a couple of like the funny things, and then a couple of the really dumb things. That's about all I have. So, Lane, you want to start us off with one of your favorite, just funny things from the movie?
I think it's very quick. It's very simple. I did take a video and send it to you, gentlemen, yesterday when our main man, Sacha Baron Cohen, is discussing his sister, Giselle Buttigieg, or whatever her name is. Okay. I do like how they have the exact same hair. I'm like, I see it in the hair. But my favorite joke is when he's complaining that he was supposed to be the model. He was the beautiful one who had the talent, and he was going to get the world to, come together with his love for him. But he didn't, and he's kind of resentful of Giselle because of that.
Well, because
even today,
one of them had to go to university to study cocaine dealing.
Sounds right. Another very good joke. And then he says, and even today, she surrounds herself with yes men. Isn't that true, man? And they'll go, yes.
Yes.
Walter Hauser gives a good look, and it's like, that got me. As I was sitting there, I had a little out loud chuckle. Congratulations, movie. You got me sitting by myself. That was it. That was it. Yes.
So I think that scene comes in the middle of a scene that was both just painful but also pretty funny, when they had to swallow the cocaine-filled condoms, and the two like henchmen.
It's a funny premise. The fact that they can smuggle more cocaine in the balls, that's funny, right?
Right.
It's something that you wouldn't think of.
Yeah, exactly. This cartel is into the condom because it's just gonna up the amount of cocaine they can smuggle in their mules, and then so they have to obviously test the durability, and so they're testing the durability by having 4 different people ingest it
Of
and make
course.
sure that they don't die, which is just great stuff. And I love how the 2 henchmen just like crush it.
But the class
And
of the
then
working.
yeah, and then it's painful for a while watching the other 2 do it. But what
There's
was
a
funny
lot
to
of
me,
movies. Go ahead.
was when he Sacha Baron Cohen pulls the gun on him and tells him he better swallow it in like the next 10 seconds or whatever, and he finally does it and they're all celebrating, and he's like, "You went with the balls first."
It's so stupid.
Oh God.
There's movies that do like the gross out humor where like people are doing something and they're all gagging, like, and this is trying to do that and have fun where we're all kind of watching something. Like there's one part where they're like just like repeatedly
Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing right now? Like this is not what I want to be.
It goes on for way too long.
Way too long, right?
Yeah,
And it's like it's almost like watching porn, like drooling all over. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys, let's not do this in our movies.
That was rough.
Yep.
Keith, you got a highlight for us?
I mean, those 2 scenes are both pretty good. I did like. I mean, the Larry David app. There's nothing really standing out. I did enjoy Eric Andre and the other guy arguing about Julie.
Yes.
Trying to bang
everybody but those 2.
Yeah.
And then as they're chasing Brad and Elijah, they go, we heard every word that you just said.
You were talking very loud.
Incredibly loud in the thing. Like
makes sense.
Yeah.
What do I know? Fuck you too. Yeah.
No, it had little highlights of like funny shit. Oh, obviously, and then the karaoke scene was fucking hilarious, which Lane, you mentioned earlier. Part of it was Sacha Baron Cohen. The other part was the fact that they made Paul Walter Hauser's voice just feel angelic, which
he really did.
I also really liked Mark Wahlberg's face and the way he was singing.
Yes,
he's just like very
like super high, annoying, obnoxious voice that he's doing, and I actually
his eyes are just so intense,
piercing. I don't like I listened to the song a little bit, kind of here and there, but haven't heard it in a long time. I pulled up the music video, and watched it side by side with the performance, and it's exactly the same. Like she turns and looks and sings at him and like gets closer to his face. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like the more time when I first watched, I was like, these guys are terrible. What's going on here? What are we doing? Right. And then I gave it a little bit more love. And like I said, I probably rewound it 15 times, just soaking up the majestic nature of it.
Yeah. So we've mentioned like quite a few scenes that are the good ones. The karaoke, all the Yeramohi stuff. There's a lot of
stuff I enjoyed. Ish.
Yeah, the Larry David stuff. It was kind of funny that the cocaine bear reference and then the cocaine alligator, and then seeing the video of them later.
Yeah, I like that.
It was funny because they talked about eating it and how delicious it was. So you're kind of thinking like, whoa, like how much time has passed? Did they build a fire?
Yeah, they're not going to show that. What's happening?
Yeah, and then later on, they're just sitting there eating this fucking crocodile sitting on a log. So there was some good stuff, but there was a lot of bad.
A lot of bad.
The peeing into the river and the fish.
Yeah, I think that's clearly the most ridiculous, stupid thing. And the worst part is it's coming, right? Because the old dude is like, hey, you pee in the water, a fish swims up your dick. And it's like,
and it eats you from the inside. Okay. And so as soon as they're on the water and there's peeing involved, you're like, oh, fuck. And then another one that goes on for far too long.
Yeah. And this movie shows a dick. It's not Mark Wahlberg, but it shows a dickhead. And you're like, okay.
In general, speaking of scenes that went on too long, this movie was only an hour 44.
Yeah.
It felt too long.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was
was watching
really
it.
did.
one thing,
So-
like to get released onto the streets of Brazil and everyone knows you, and it's like, all right, now you got to get away, and then to be the cartel. Then they get in the jungle and almost eaten. Then they fucking get on the river, and then they get released, and then it's just like, this is this is too many spoilers. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, just end the
Yeah.
goddamn movie already.
And I found the actual like incident at the game to be painful
Oh, absolutely.
to watch.
That was
Him
awful.
just being so mad about the linguiça that he thought was a penis that was taunting him, which now that I say it out loud is kind of funny. He was just so drunk that he was and just traumatized about losing his job that he thinks the linguiça was placed there to taunt him. But it was painful to watch. And then the game, like when they actually run on, and it just all looked very bad, and it just was very dumb. I didn't like that.
Well, the fact that the Senor Santos bought them the tickets and the private plane and all that, and then was immediately fired after his drunken crack-filled,
hmm
and somehow, but it all still got booked, and no one did anything about it. I mean, that's a minor hole to poke.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it. It was like, the bureaucracy and the like, because he was like some sort of person in the Brazilian government. I think
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So
Whatever.
again, it all loosely makes sense. It's very very dumb.
I got a negative. I think that the whole them being saved by Venezuela people at the end was so dumb. And the fact that
Argentinian, yes.
Yeah,
Argentina, there we go. And they have an Argentinian lady who was like there to rescue them, and they fired her, and that's why they didn't get saved. It's like, okay.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, sure.
The one
just
funny
can't.
line from that part was when they hold up the flag and they're like, Uruguay? And then the guy's like,
Yeah.
no, our flags are very similar. Because they are. It's very, very good. All right, guys. I don't have much more. I don't know about you guys. I don't know that this movie deserves a hell of a lot more.
Deserves much more. No. I don't think I have any more either.
All right, well.
Actually, I do. I like Molly Shannon. What'd you guys think of Molly Shannon?
Oh,
We haven't
glad you
mentioned
brought
her
that
yet.
up. It was. I saw that she got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this
Good
week.
for her.
Matter of fact,
Hell
and then
yeah.
happened to just watch the movie right after I saw that. But yes, refreshing to not only see Molly Shannon, but she was fucking funny in her mainly like 1 to 2 scenes. Like the opening scene, she was fucking pretty good. So yes, good to see Molly Shannon. Haven't seen her in anything in a long time, and it wasn't an overly. It was one of the few that wasn't too over the top stupid.
Yeah, she did have one scene where she's like, the guy Elijah was like, in the future, and she goes, in the future, what are you talking about, bro? And I was like,
Yeah.
gross. But again, I love her, and that line's not gonna deter me from 20 years of loving that woman. So congrats to her on her Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I hope she continues to get jobs and hopefully movies that are better than this. You want to talk money, my friend?
Yeah, we can try.
We can absolutely try. I'm at least curious to hear the budget because there's a lot behind this. We got big names, and in order to know how much the movie costs, you got to throw it to the money man. Lucas Walker, please make the dollars make sense.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. It does not appear that there has been any publicly reported budget for this movie.
Gross. Too much.
Yeah, so there was one thing because it was actually I believe mostly filmed in Australia, and there was something they said that it would generate approximately $64 million for the local economy, which would be like 40 million US. And then based on just like the fact that it was Mark Wahlberg, all the locations, just kind of the studio that did it, the large cast, the estimate would be somewhere in the $40 to $70 million range. I would guess more like the $40 to $50 million range. And then there's no box office numbers because this was a straight to Prime Video number. So we'll never know. We'll never know what this movie cost, how much this movie generated, whether it was one of the most giant flops of all time, which it probably was, or whether it somehow made money. So unfortunately, that's all we got.
Hey, the actors got paid. You boys want to talk beer?
Let's talk beer.
Oh, let's talk beer. I'm a little thirsty. I'm not having a beer tonight, but I want to know. I want to know because I got 3 of them in my fridge waiting to be drank eventually. I want to learn about this beer. I'm intrigued. I want to hear about it. I want to go to the beer corner and have my favorite barkeep tell me about it. Mr. Good, what you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think I have the most interesting beer corner in a while. We are drinking Wrexham Lager. Luke mentioned at the beginning, this is a Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney thing. We think of Wrexham now. We think of those two. We think of the football team. We think of soccer. We think of ball stuff. That's why it was picked. But if you're looking at the can, which I realize that some of you don't have it in front of you, this was established in 1882, which if you're doing your math is way before those two gentlemen were born. This beer is coming in at 4%. This is a true classic that has stood the test of time, is a crisp, clean, and iconic, and subtly hopped lager with a clean aroma. Light, refreshing, and easy to drink. It does say available at Total Wines, which we're a big fan of here. If they want to sponsor us at any point, we'd love that. Binny's, which I've never heard of before in my entire life, and other great places where you can buy beer.
But if they want to sponsor us, we're also into that.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, but they can sponsor us as well. Sure. Ingredients: malted barley, hops, water, and yeast. For allergens, see ingredients in bold. And it's just malted barley, which I think is pretty fun. I'm drinking the 16-ounce can. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and do something for the first time that I've ever done on this podcast because I got a new computer and I want to see how it does. So I have a little 1.5, 2-minute video for you that gives you some awesome backstory about the history of this beer. Pause it. Check that out.
Is there sound?
Oh, can you not hear it? Well, checks out. Only I'm the one that can hear it. Well, then I'm the one who's going to tell you about it. This started in 1882. We've got these two German dudes who wanted to try and brew beer with the traditional Bavarian method. And there's one thing that we've mentioned. This is a lager. It's very bright and yellow on the can here. Do any of you gentlemen remember what lager means in the beer world?
It'll be storage.
Look at you, storage. And these gentlemen here were the kings of storing beer. They were at the forefront of the inventions. So what they did is they would use naturally cold and stable temperatures to ferment the beer. They would use ice banks to store the beer to keep it cold enough to facilitate the lager's beer smooth flavor. That's why they chose Wrexham, which I think is really interesting. Then they meet this German industrialist to, like I said, let's see, relinquish the business, boom, the sales rose because of this dude. And eventually in the 1900s, they do this awesome thing where they get to join with this boat company. And this Wrexham lager was actually the beer that was on the Titanic. It was the only lager that was available on the Titanic right here with the infamous voyage of the White Star Line's Titanic, which is really awesome. They used the English ports to get their beer all over the country. So it's one of the first beers that was available, in different countries because of the ice blocks and their storage capabilities. This was, again, one of the first beers to go and be sold internationally. Eventually, things did not go so well. They started to lose some of their panache, if you will. And then we've got this family that comes in and buys them, kind of a local company who rebuilds the building and starts from scratch. And once he buys right here, the names and likeness for like one. Lucas, Keith, you guys know what that is? Is that a euro or is that a pound? That little weird E thing right here.
I believe that's
Looks
pound.
like a
yeah.
okay for 1 pound. I don't know if there's what's the difference between a euro and a pound, but maybe someone can tell. It's probably like dollars and cents, maybe.
No,
Eventually,
completely
no.
different forms of money.
Eventually,
Like
we have
a
our
yen
friends.
and a dollar.
Is it
Two totally
a
different
pound?
currencies, but
Yeah.
Hell yeah! So wait, only Britain uses the pound.
I believe only the UK uses the
yes,
pound.
the UK.
And who uses euros? Everyone else?
Everyone else in Europe.
All right.
Europe.
God, I'm learning. All right. So, anyways, this is the beer corner and the money corner. See the financials. We mix it all into one. Rob McElhenney, Ryan Reynolds, they joined the family as co-owners. Obviously, they went to Wrexham and found this football team and fell in love with the city and the heritage, and they're just kind of part of the town now, which I don't really know. I didn't watch the movie, the TV show, or anything, and it's strange, but it's cool. They're into it, I guess, and if they're going to keep this brewery alive, God damn it, good for them. Cheers to an awesome beer, and cheers to that cool story.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
And also go to Wrexham Lager's website and watch the 2-minute video because it is pretty interesting. I wish I knew that there was no sound.
I'd like to drink the beer. I believe that fits into the German purity laws there.
I was gonna mention that as well.
Look at you guys. You're
Love
true
that.
students of the beer corner.
Yep.
This would be right for you, Luke. I mean, I can look through it. It's nice and crisp and light. And I think now's the time when I should go ahead and discuss my review of said
Yep.
beer. Gentlemen, I think this is I'm going to give it an 8.5. I was going to go 9. I was going to get a little wild, but I'm going to stick with an 8.5. It's a great beer. It's light. It's crisp. It's flavorful. No bad aftertaste. It's just not quite as refreshing as I'm looking for in a light beer. I'm sitting in here in a hot room under these lights, just baking while I'm just, for the pod. It's not as refreshing as I'm looking for to get that 9. You know
Well,
what
to
I mean?
be fair, don't the Brits drink their beer warm?
I hope not.
I don't know. I mean,
Therefore,
that
is it
wouldn't
be as refreshing.
that wouldn't surprise me if they did that. It seems like a crazy, disgusting thing to do.
Not
They
since
are.
1776,
Very
all
British
right?
thing to do.
They are. That would be a very British thing to do. The British are odd. They're odd ducks.
Thank God.
Well,
we,
8.5.
thank God
Solid.
we fucking departed from them 250 great years ago.
That's right. That's right. All right, boys. Well, I think it is time to play America's favorite game.
Let's play America's favorite game. It's time for some rotten guesses.
This is so good, Keith.
Every time.
Every time. Luke, who you want to go first?
Let's have Keith go first.
Oh, it's as I was watching this, I'm thinking, this movie's really fucking stupid. And it's not very good. But fucking Rotten Tomatoes recently has been giving out fucking high ratings left and right. So I feel like this should not get a very good rating. And I'm going to try and balance that with the fact that a lot of movies that we did not think were going to get super high ratings have gotten super high ratings recently. I'm going to say the critics give it like a 5.8. I'm going even lower than I actually wanted to go because I just don't see how this could get rated very high at all. And I think the audience is going to be closer to a 4.
Okay, wow.
40.
Okay.
40.
Not 4. 40.
58, 40.
Okay.
All
I like your second guess a little bit better than your first. I think the critics are going to be low. I can see them being real low. I'm going to go like a 28. I think the audience will be a little bit higher. What did you go? I'll go 44 audience. 28 critics, 44 audience.
All right. Well, for the sake of trying to win the game, I'm going to go on the higher side. I'm going to go with a critic score
Just look it up.
of a 65.
You're still too low.
And I'm going to go with an audience score of a 53.
Good victory.
Lane, you
Break our
made the
hearts.
correct move by going with your gut. Luke, you and I should have just probably gone with our gut. Tomato meter.
Oh
From
my
the critics,
god.
23%.
23 for the critics.
And the popcorn meter was 29%.
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh boy.
That works. That fits.
That
I'm,
might make
I'm
this
actually
the worst
I'm
movie we've ever
relieved.
seen.
I'm relieved to see that because
Me too.
I was starting to question Rotten Tomatoes with our last few reviews there.
We
I like this some of these reviews. This alleged comedy has all the structural and performance elements required to create humor, but is stunningly unfunny.
As far as titles go, Balls Up is about right. This is a disaster.
Dude, all of those are pretty good, but they describe it perfectly. They set it up perfectly for laughs, and we just still on them. Right?
Oh god.
Jesus.
That's good stuff. All right. Well, Keith, why don't you go ahead and give us your score?
Oh man, this is fucking. The thing is, there was enough like we talked about. There was enough small giggles, funny moments that at least made it somewhat tolerable. But this was just not a good movie at all. It was pretty fucking terrible. And even for an hour and 44, it was too long. Like I said, we could have ended this after the cartel house, for Christ's sake. Just get him out of there and be done. I like Mark Wahlberg. I'd like to go higher, but I'll go with my audience guess and I'll say a 4 because I think that's the appropriate rating for this movie. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith, I think you are in the absolute correct ballpark. I mean, this movie is terrible. There's no other way to describe it. I don't even think it was kind of good. It was just really, really bad.
Is it so bad that one day people will rewatch it and like?
No, I don't even think it's that
favorite type movie. I really hope not, because this is really bad.
No. It's bad. I hope it's lost to the sands of time. I hope Amazon Prime takes this off of its service at some point because it's such a disgrace. I'll go a little bit higher. I'll go a 4.4.
I was expecting you to go like 1.5 for this.
I like Mark Wahlberg and I like Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah. It also sounds like you've watched one scene back 15 times, which is
15 times.
Pretty good.
That's true.
And it's mostly just because of the singing, but still, I mean, if I put it on, I've been watching it. So 4.4.
Yeah, I knew this movie was gonna be dumb, but whatever. Dumb movies are good sometimes or funny sometimes. The more we've talked about the movie, the more I think I like it, because there was a lot of funny shit happening. There was a lot of really dumb and bad dumb shit happening. I'm shocked that Mark Wahlberg was in this movie. I can't believe this movie was made. I think that's crazy that these writers were sitting on this idea in this movie for 20 years. That's bonkers. But there was some stuff that made me laugh out loud. I was watching this. I flew home from Seattle from the World Cup first class, and I'm sitting in first class watching this movie on my iPad. And it was almost embarrassing, and I was really hoping nobody was like looking at my screen at any point. But also, I like laughed out loud quite a few times. I enjoyed my time with the movie. I will say I enjoyed watching it. I kind of want to watch it again, just for some of these kind of absurd, silly scenes. Having said all that, it's not a good movie, and I'm gonna stick with my score that I texted to the group last night of a 5.2. It's still pretty bad, but it's funny in some ways.
It's not. I did want to mention, I mean, we didn't have a Mark Wahlberg chat. I don't know. I think he's kind of down as an actor, but that's a whole different conversation. I'm sure we'll watch it.
I don't think we need to have any kind of chat.
Right.
No, we need to have
for this particular.
We need to have a go to bed chat.
We need to have an intervention with him, apparently, about being
exactly.
the dumbest fucking movie ever.
Well, before we go, Lucas, I would like you to assign. You've hit a couple yellows. I would like you to give my dog the red She broke into my room with a locked door. I locked the bedroom door, and somehow she opened up the door. So it's
Giddy,
impressive, but still, we're the right
you're
person.
out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is
Back
episode
it up.
133 of A Beer in Review. Interesting choice this week, but for the World Cup, god damn it, it had to be done. We have 4th of July coming up next week, and I can't wait to discuss what we have planned. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you next week. Boys, cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.